There is a silent power that completely changes how people perceive you, and today I want to show you how to awaken it within yourself. If you're tired of being disrespected, questioned, or constantly having to explain yourself, then this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll learn today can forever change how you position yourself in the world. The truth is, respect isn't requested, begged for, or bought. Respect is commanded, and those who discover this key never again live at the mercy of others' approval. I want you to understand one thing. It's not about shouting louder, appearing stronger, or being aggressive. The secret to respect lies in calmness, posture, and the confidence you project. Imagine someone entering a room without saying much, yet everyone immediately feels their presence. That's invisible authority, and you can learn to have it too. The first step to gaining this power is silence. Silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning. When you stay silent in the face of provocation, the other person's mind starts working against them. They expect you to defend yourself, justify, or play their game. But when you breathe and stand firm, it's as if you're saying, "I don't need to prove anything." A simple technique you can use is the 3-second rule. Whenever someone attacks or tries to diminish you before responding, take a breath and mentally count to 3. This brief pause creates discomfort for the other person and shows you, don't react impulsively. You control the conversation, the energy in the room, and demonstrate that you're not easily shaken. Pay attention. This isn't passivity. This silence is active, strategic, and psychological. You're not avoiding confrontation. You're steering it. The second principle is even more powerful. Stop justifying yourself. Every time you over-explain, you give away your power. You show that you need approval, that you need others to validate your choices. Think about the times you've said, "Sorry, I'm late because the traffic was awful," or "I wanted to go, but I can't because I have to work." Without realizing it, you're apologizing for your own life. Now imagine the difference of simply saying, "I'll arrive later," or "I'd rather not do that." Short, firm, clear. No justifications. The impact is immediate. At first, people may feel uneasy, but they quickly learn to respect your decisions because you leave no room for debate. Justifying opens the door to being challenged. Deciding with clarity shuts that door without effort. The third principle is unshakable dignity. Dignity is the greatest shield against any attack because no one can take it from you unless you surrender it. When someone tries to humiliate you, your reaction determines whether they succeed or not. There was once a young executive who was publicly attacked in an attempt to destroy her. Fake documents, lying witnesses, a setup designed to bring her down. Anyone would have panicked, desperately defended themselves, or begged for justice. But she did none of that. She simply looked everyone in the eye, took a deep breath, and when they were done, calmly said, "Are you finished?" Then she gathered her things and left. Days later, everyone involved was exposed and lost their positions. What she did was reflect the aggression back without absorbing it. This is the emotional mirror technique. When someone unloads anger on you, don't match their frequency. Take 3 deep breaths, relax your face, keep your eyes steady, but not aggressive. When you speak, use simple phrases. "I understand your point." "Interesting perspective." This disarms any argument because you're not operating at the level of their anger. You're above it. And here's something even deeper. Authentic presence. This is the kind of respect that doesn't come from posture or technique, but from your essence. It's what happens when you accept who you are without pretending, without hiding your flaws, without wearing a mask to please others. I once met a simple woman who worked as a cleaner. Yet, amazingly, everyone respected her, from her coworkers to the company's directors. And why? Because she was whole, genuine, authentic. She didn't try to be perfect or prove anything. She simply lived honestly with herself, and that authenticity created an invisible authority no one could ignore. The philosopher Jung called this integrating the shadow, accepting that you have flaws, dark sides, fears, but not letting them define you. When you don't need to hide who you are, you become free. And those who are free in this way command respect automatically. So take this to heart. Respect doesn't come from strength, but from presence. It doesn't come from justifications, but from firm decisions. It doesn't come from lengthy explanations, but from strategic silences. Practice active silence, clarity without justifications, unshakable dignity, and radical authenticity. This is the path to commanding respect anywhere without shouting, fighting, or begging. And remember, the respect you earn starts within you. The more you respect yourself, the more the world will learn to respect you too. Have you ever noticed how most people live trying to uphold an image that doesn't match what they truly feel? They pretend to be okay when they're falling apart, act confident while riddled with insecurities, or project a happiness that exists only on social media, not in real life. The problem is that sooner or later this mask begins to crack. The body betrays, gestures reveal, the voice gives it away. And those around, even unconsciously, sense something false in that presence. That's why some people seem likable but don't inspire trust. The human subconscious detects inauthenticity long before conscious reasoning does, but there's a powerful secret. When you stop hiding who you are and start embracing even your darker sides, a magnetic force emerges within you. Carl Jung called this the integration of the shadow, and it means accepting that you're not perfect, that you carry flaws, fears, and imperfections, and that's okay. The exercise is simple but transformative. List 3 traits you hate admitting about yourself. Maybe you're controlling, envious, or lazy. Now, instead of denying them, accept them. Tell yourself, yes, I can be controlling when I'm anxious, and that shows I crave more, security. Yes, I feel envy, and that can reveal what I truly want to achieve. Yes, I'm sometimes lazy, and that reminds me I need balance. When you accept what you've always tried to hide, you stop wasting energy fighting yourself. That freed up energy turns into authenticity, and authenticity is irresistible. People are drawn to those who don't need to pretend, because deep down, everyone is tired of masks. But accepting yourself isn't enough. There's another crucial step. Stop living as a victim. How many times have you blamed others for not being respected? My boss doesn't value me. My family doesn't understand me. No one gives me opportunities. Each of these statements is a declaration of powerlessness, as if the control over your life always lies in someone else's hands. The philosopher Sartre was blunt. You teach others how to treat you. If someone constantly interrupts you, it's because you allow it. If someone crosses your boundaries, it's because you didn't make them clear. This isn't about blame, because blame paralyzes. It's about responsibility, because responsibility liberates. When you take full responsibility for how you're treated, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting for others to change, stop casting yourself as a victim, and start acting as the architect of your own experience. This shift in posture is visible. Next time you feel disrespected, instead of thinking, that person is to blame, ask yourself, what boundary did I fail to set? How did my reaction allow this? What can I do differently next time? This analysis hurts, but it also opens the door to freedom, because if you teach others to disrespect you, you can also teach them to respect you. And here lies the secret carried by history's great leaders. What made Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, remembered as a symbol of strength? What allowed Seneca to remain calm even in the face of death threats? It wasn't physical strength or military power. It was emotional mastery. But be careful. Emotional mastery isn't about suppressing feelings or pretending you don't feel anger, fear, or frustration. That only creates a ticking time bomb inside you. True mastery is observing your emotions without being controlled by them. When anger arises, don't say, I can't feel this. Instead, notice, my body is tense, my heart is racing, my face feels hot. This simple observation creates distance between you and the emotion. You are not the anger, you are experiencing anger. When you realize this, you stop being a slave to your reactions. This technique of the inner observer is one of the greatest keys to freedom. By observing instead of reacting, you gain a precious space between feeling and acting. And in that space lies your freedom, your conscious choice. People who master this principle radiate confidence. They don't explode at every provocation, fall for emotional manipulation, or get caught in petty power games. They have a magnetic presence precisely because they aren't controlled by external forces. But it's not enough to feel. You also need to know the right time to act. Sun Tzu said that a simple move at the right moment becomes a decisive victory, while a powerful action at the wrong time turns into a mistake. How many times have you missed opportunities because you spoke at the wrong time or stayed silent when you should have spoken? Many fail by falling into two extremes. Some can't stay quiet and talk incessantly, coming across as anxious. Others wait so long for the perfect moment that they never speak, ending up seen as irrelevant. The secret lies in balance. Observe before acting. Not every provocation deserves a response, and not every argument deserves your energy. Save your strength for what truly matters. And above all, notice moments of collective indecision. When everyone hesitates, a calm and clear voice can naturally take the lead. In your next meeting, instead of attacking bad decisions, try waiting for the right moment. When a pause arises, offer a different perspective with calmness and clarity. This approach turns confrontation into collaboration and disagreement into respect. And here's the final truth. The greatest leaders don't force leadership. They let it flow naturally. Respect doesn't come from shouting. It comes from presence. It doesn't come from imposition. It comes from clarity. It doesn't come from impulse. It comes from emotional mastery. When you integrate your shadow, take responsibility, master your reactions, and act at the right time, you become someone impossible to ignore. You transform into a magnetic, authentic, and respected presence in any setting. Have you ever noticed that the people who try the hardest to assert themselves are often the ones who gain the least respect? It's almost an invisible law of life. The more someone forces authority, the more it slips through their fingers. And perhaps this explains why you've seen loud bosses being ignored, while quiet, calm individuals naturally command everyone's attention. The truth is simple. Those who try to lead at all costs end up pushing others away. They interrupt conversations to impose their opinions. They make unilateral decisions just to prove their power. They correct irrelevant details to show off their knowledge. They control everything to demonstrate competence. But the result is always the same. They're followed out of obligation, never admiration. And what's the secret of true leaders? They do the exact opposite. They don't command, they ask. They don't say, do it this way, but suggest, what if we try it like this? They don't hog attention. They create space for others to shine. They don't compete for credit. They recognize it in others. This is where the most powerful paradox of human influence emerges. The less you try to control, the more naturally people choose to follow you. Because you don't threaten anyone's ego. You don't compete. You don't need to prove anything. You simply create an environment where cooperation feels like the most natural thing in the world. And that is leadership in its purest form. Want a practical exercise? Stop trying to prove you're a leader. Swap, look at what I know for how can I help? Solve the problems no one wants to tackle. Facilitate conversations everyone avoids. Connect people who need to meet. That's effortless leadership. And don't be fooled. Effortless leadership isn't passivity. It's like water that never stops moving forward. It flows around rocks, sidesteps obstacles, and always finds the most efficient path. The more you act like water, the more naturally you become someone impossible to ignore. But let's be realistic. Being helpful and collaborative isn't always enough. Sometimes you need to disagree. And here lies another forgotten art. Why do characters like House or Tyrion Lannister earn respect even when they're harsh and challenging? Because there's something captivating about those who have the courage to disagree authentically. As Nietzsche said, excessive agreement reeks of falsehood. When you always say yes, people start to distrust you. When you never disagree, it seems like you lack your own opinions. And when you avoid all conflict, you come across as insecure or manipulative. The human brain responds better to authenticity, even when it stings. We prefer a harsh truth to a sweet lie. But there's a fine line between authenticity and arrogance. The difference is clear. Tantrums serve the ego, while intelligent disagreement serves the truth. A childish outburst says, "This is wrong, period." Strategic disagreement says, "I see 3 points that could harm us." It doesn't destroy, it builds. It doesn't close doors, it opens paths. Want to learn how to disagree without losing respect? Use this practical technique. First, acknowledge the partial merit of the idea. Second, present your specific concern. Third, offer a constructive alternative. This keeps your authenticity without creating unnecessary enemies. People respect those who think differently, but only when they sense that thought comes from genuine reflection. And here's the detail that changes everything. Disagree with the idea, not the person. Swap "you're wrong" for "this strategy might carry risks." This shift in language turns a clash of egos into a building of collective intelligence. When you master this art, something magical happens. People start valuing your opinion precisely because they know you won't lie to please them. You become someone rare, authentic without being arrogant, honest without being aggressive, present without being oppressive. And in this synthesis, true authority is born. An authority that doesn't need to be imposed or demanded. It's simply recognized. This is the grand integration of this trilogy. First, you learned that presence isn't about shouting louder, but about mastering your inner energy. Then, you understood that respect isn't given. It's taught through your reactions and boundaries. And now you discover that leadership isn't about imposing, but about creating space, collaborating, and disagreeing intelligently. These are the 10 techniques that transform anyone into an unforgettable presence. If until now you've seen yourself as invisible, insecure, or easily disrespected, know this: it can change. And it can change starting today. Because nothing is more powerful than someone who embraces their shadow, takes responsibility, and leads, without needing to command. That's true power. That's the kind of respect no degree can buy, no title can guarantee. And now the choice is in your hands. You can keep living behind masks, waiting for recognition that never comes. Or you can decide today to claim your presence, your voice, and your influence. The question is simple. Are you ready to become someone people follow without being told? If the answer is yes, start applying just one technique you learned here today, and watch how the world responds differently. This is just the beginning, because when you change within, the world changes around you. And that's exactly what will transform how everyone sees you. Now it's up to you.